right, almost done here. Just get the other side.
Sure, no problem.
Okay, together. Teamwork, beautiful, beautiful. Up and down. Up.
Right.
Okay. Hi there, my name's Rory. This is Dana. Last summer, that was a scorcher, wasn't it? And I suppose that's probably why you decided to purchase a quality Atlantic above-ground pool this summer.
Not only is it an affordable, quality pool package, but it's one that you can install yourself to save even more money.
Putting the pool together is pretty straightforward, but you do have to read the manual carefully, just so you put it together perfectly.
On this tape, Rory and I are going to demonstrate all the steps that you're going to be doing. So if you watch the tape and follow the manual, you'll see exactly how easy it is to do.
There are 4 major parts to this pool. Make sure you've got them all before you begin. There's the pool kit, which consists of the wall, the base hardware, and the verticals and top rails. And of course, there's a liner. You also require a skimmer, a pump, and filtration package. In addition, you'll need a few tools to make things easier. You should have a flat shovel or spade, a sturdy garden rake, a hammer or mallet, a sturdy wooden or metal peg, like an eaves trough nail, a short wooden 2x2 stake, a length of sturdy cord or string, a roll of duct tape, some spray paint with a vertical nozzle, a number 3 Phillips screwdriver, and if possible, a cordless drill with a Phillips bit. And depending on the size of pool you're installing, you'll need a tape measure of up to 30 feet or 10 meters.
We've rented a surveyor's transit so that we can level our pool very accurately. These are available at most tool rental outlets, but we'll also show you how to level your pool without one. For that, you'll need a 4-foot carpenter's level and a good straight length of 2x4 or 2x6.
You'll also need material to create a soft bottom for the pool. Many people choose brick sand for the bottom, but we've decided to use a foam bottom kit. In either case, you'll still need some brick sand to construct a smooth cove around the inside edge of the pool bottom. And you'll need a quantity of crushed limestone for the pool foundation. The first thing you need to decide is just where to put your pool. There's a couple of things you may need to keep in mind. First of all, there may be local bylaws or stipulations regarding your pool, how close it can be to fences or buildings, or regulations concerning fence height or gate locks. And you may need a building permit before you begin, so make sure you check with local authorities.
You need to keep away from trees with overhanging branches and overhead wires and clotheslines. You should also check with your local utilities before you start to make sure you're not putting your pool on top of sewer or water lines, natural gas pipes or buried electrical, cable TV or telephone wires. Or in our location out in the country, over the septic tank.
The most important consideration is terrain. You need a large flat area with sufficient drainage. And if you're going to build a deck, a pool shed, or any other building, take those into consideration as well. Your pool must be on dry, firm earth. It can't be over concrete, asphalt, tar paper, sand, gravel, peat moss, wood, or chemically treated soil.
We've decided to put the pool off to this side of the yard, close to the existing deck. It'll be in the sun most of the day.
The first step is to locate the center of your pool area. We're putting up a 24-foot round pool, so we're going to measure out a little larger than the radius of our pool. That's 13 feet or about 4 meters from where we want the pool wall next to the deck. Remember to adjust that length for the size of pool you've purchased. Mark the center point temporarily by driving a spike into the ground.
To mark out the circle where the pool will sit, use a can of spray paint and a piece of cord. Determine the length of the string you need. You can find that from the chart on page 1-4 of the instruction manual. For our pool, it's 12.5 feet or 380 centimeters. With the string at the right length, I'll just shake the can, turn it upside down. With the strings tight, I'll spray a circle on the grass to mark the pool outline.
You have to remove the sod and other vegetation from underneath the pool. Decaying grass and weeds can ruin the pool liner and also give off an unpleasant odor. If nut grass grows in your area, you'll have to get expert advice from your pool dealer about how to kill it because it will grow up and puncture the liner.
Now we're going to remove the sod and level the earth. Using your spade, cut through the sod on the paint marks. Make another set of cuts about 8 inches or 20 centimeters away. Slip your spade under the edge of the sod and keeping the blade nearly horizontal, cut under the strips of sod. the strips into manageable lengths. Roll them up and remove them from the area. For a smaller area, this method works fine, but we've got a lot of grass to take up. So Rory's gone down to the local rental center and it's got a sod cutter. That is going to make it a lot easier. After the sod has been removed, make sure the area is free of stones or roots. Now comes the job of making sure the pool foundation is perfectly flat.
Remember we rented a surveyor's transit for this job? Here's how it works. We'll set the transit in an area where it won't be disturbed as we work. We extend the legs so the transit is at eye level. See the bubble in the transit head? We make fine adjustments until it's right in the center.
That makes the transit perfectly level. Now we look through the eyepiece and focus it on the measuring stick. The transit focuses perfectly along a horizontal plane, so no matter where the stick is placed, the reading should be identical when we bring it into focus. That's how we'll know the ground is perfectly flat.
But if you don't have a transit, there is another way to make sure that the ground is level. Remember, the pool size area shouldn't vary by more than an inch or 25 millimeters from one side to the other. Otherwise, the pool could collapse. Find a straight piece of 2x4 and cut it to the length shown in the chart on page 1-4 of the instruction manual. For our pool, it's 12.5 feet or 380 centimeters. You might consider using a thicker board for longer lengths to ensure it's straight. We're using a 1x6. Drive a 4-inch nail into the edge at one end of the board and then cut off the nail head. Place the 4-foot carpenter's level in the middle of this board and hold it in place with duct tape.
Remove the peg from the center of the pool and replace it with a 2x2 stake driven down flush with the ground. We'll use a pencil to mark an X across the top of the stake to find the exact center.
Take the board, place the cut-off nail in the middle of the X, and hammer it into the top. Now, we need to identify the area of lowest elevation. In this yard, there's a slight slope away from the house. So the point of lowest elevation is furthest away from the deck on the far side of the pool. And we've already confirmed this with the transit.
You have to bring the higher areas down to the height of the lowest part of the circle. That means scraping away the earth in this area, near the deck, not filling in the low spots. The pool needs to sit on undisturbed earth. Filling in low spots will create an unstable foundation and could cause the pool to collapse.
Point the board towards the area of lowest elevation and check the bubble on the carpenter's level. You may have to drive the stake down further into the ground in order to get level with the area of lowest elevation. Okay, now we have the stake at the same depth as the lowest elevation.
That's it.
We'll swing the board around in a circular fashion and scrape up all the excess soil so that no matter which way the board points, we'll always have a level reading. This is a very critical step in the process, so please take your time. Work carefully to make sure you get the foundation perfectly level. Now, if you find that you're dealing with something other than just a slight slope, you might want to consider bringing in the heavier equipment.
When you finish, double check the outer 12 inches or 30 centimeters in this area where the pool wall will be, making sure there are no gaps or dips in the ground here.
To ensure this area is completely level, you can pack in a small amount of crushed limestone. Tamped down, it makes a stable base and is quite easily leveled.
For the next step, you'll need the base plates and base rails from your kit.
You've got your base plate, and you'll keep the wide edge towards the outside of the pool. You'll take your base rails, you'll slide it in through the little track, and take the other one, not necessarily meet, you'll leave about a half-inch gap in between the two, place it down, repeat the process along the circumference of the pool. To keep the rails from slipping out of the plates, take a pair of pliers and carefully bend just 1/8 of an inch or 3 millimeters of the rail lip outward slightly.
Although this step is listed as optional in the instruction manual, it's a good idea to provide support for the pool verticals by placing a patio stone or building a crushed limestone pad under each base plate. First, let's determine the exact location for each base plate. Place a nail in the center stake and tie a piece of string to it. Measure out the radius of your pool, in our case, 12 feet or 365 centimeters, and mark the string at that point. Now arrange the base plates so the face of each plate is exactly the same distance away from the center stake.
Now you mark a square around each base plate in the soil, about 12 by 12 inches or 30 by 30 centimeters. Now set the base rails and plates aside and excavate the areas you've marked out. You want to sink the patio stone level with the ground surface and level with every other patio stone. Use your small spade to carefully dig out the earth under the patio stones to a depth of about 3 inches or 75 millimeters. Try not to dig too deep. A good way to level the area is to put in a small quantity of crushed limestone. Make a tamper from one long and one short piece of 2x4. Dampen it slightly and tamp it down firmly. Place the patio stone on the limestone.
You can check the stones for level by replacing the 1x6 on the stake and setting it on each patio stone. Or you can check each one using your transit. If you need to, remove the stones and add or remove crushed limestone, tamping down the area before replacing the patio stone. If you prefer, you can also use limestone pad instead of patio stones. Just dig out the area you've marked to a depth of about 2 inches or 5 centimeters and fill the hole with crushed limestone. Dampen it slightly and tamp it down tightly. The limestone pad must be level with the surrounding earth and the other limestone pads. Check this with your level or with your transit.
Once you're certain about the levels, remove the center stake, fill the hole with some loose soil, and tamp it down tightly. Now let's bring back the base rails and plates and assemble them fully. You need to maintain about a half-inch or 13 millimeter gap between each of the base rails. Here's a neat little trick. As a helping hand, cut enough pieces of wood a half-inch thick and then place them in the base plate between the rails, secure, and there you go. It's only temporary, but it serves the purpose of keeping that half-inch gap.